We eat food for one primary reason, to gain energy. But often, the exact opposite happens. You sit down for a meal to refuel, and an hour later, you hit a wall of immediate lethargy and fatigue. It comes down to a biological reality we can call the digestion tax. Simply put, your digestive system is one of the most energy-demanding mechanisms in your entire body. When you consume standard, unprocessed food, your stomach has to perform intense mechanical and chemical labor. It has to crush, dissolve, and break apart that mass before a single drop of usable fuel can be extracted. For many people, especially as biological systems naturally age, the energy spent physically breaking down the meal nearly outweighs the energy gained from it. You end up trapped in an inefficient net energy loop. This diagram shows standard rice grains with a dense, complex macrostructure. It is a tough, rigid object your stomach must mechanically crush. To dissolve those large clusters, the stomach works overtime, pumping intense acids and undergoing prolonged muscular labor to strip it down. Because of this biological bottleneck, your body is forced to expend its own vital energy reserves just to process the incoming fuel. Standard food traps its value behind a mechanical barrier. The problem is an inefficient delivery system that often wastes resources before any gain is realized. What if we could bypass that bottleneck entirely? What if the hardest part of digestion could be outsourced to technology before the food even enters your body? This brings us to the Easy-Absorb innovation. It is a pre-digestion mechanical system engineered specifically to handle the stomach's heavy lifting for you. Looking at this diagram of the clean process, the first step uses precise, low-level heat. This safely softens the grain without burning away its inherent nutritional profile. Next, the system applies advanced pressure mechanics to physically fracture the grain's rigid macrogeometry. Through this dual-action manipulation, the rice is structurally transformed from a tough, solid mass into a fine, smooth state. By doing this mechanically, the biological barrier is removed. Nutrients are made immediately accessible, removing the internal struggle your stomach used to endure. This comparison shows the result of that structural engineering. On the left, large standard molecules bounce off the cellular membrane. On the right, we have a new classification called cellular food, nanoscale nutrition gliding smoothly through the barrier. The biological advantage here is pure efficiency. Because the physical size of the particles has been drastically reduced, they can be immediately absorbed by your intestinal tract. You completely bypass the digestion tax. Without the heavy, taxing labor of breaking down large particles, your body keeps the energy it normally spends digesting. As we see in the final step of the diagram, the result is ready rice, food that demands absolutely zero preparatory labor from your internal organs. This innovation achieves its result through physical engineering rather than synthetic additives. By changing the food's geometry, we change how the body interacts with it. Think back to the energy deficit we started with. Consuming cellular food flips that economic model of human energy on its head. Because the food arrives pre-processed to a nanoscale, this diagram shows how the stomach gets to remain in a low-effort resting state during the entire digestive phase. This graph illustrates the exact difference. Standard digestion takes a deep dip at the start to pay the tax, but with Easy-Absorb, the absence of that tax creates a steep, immediate upward spike in available net energy. By eliminating the bottleneck, every calorie you consume translates straight into usable, retained vitality. When we apply this biological efficiency to human steaks, especially for an aging body, conserving internal energy dictates your daily quality of life. Instead of feeling sluggish after a meal, you feel naturally vibrant, capable, and physically light. It provides a steady, high net energy state without stimulants. The true value of a meal depends on absorption efficiency. A list of ingredients is only useful if the body has the capacity to process them. The future of healthy aging relies on intelligent food technologies like Alpha Plus, tools that adapt modern nutrition to work in perfect harmony with our biological reality.